Hey guys, remember the season finale of The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 16, the first day of the rest of your life. And guys, I was obviously hyped for this finale. I'm one of the few people who's actually really enjoyed this season. I think it's definitely been different, very character-centric, and a little less action-focused as some of the other scenes have been. But for the most part, it's been very successful in doing the approach of less is more. Especially the second half has been a lot of less is more. And I think they've handled it quite well with some really great character episodes. That being said, though, I was a little bit worried for this finale because The Walking Dead has a tendency to do two things. One, the cast members hype things up nearly almost all the time. They're like, oh, this finale made me cry, it's beautiful, it's one of the most emotional things we've done, and then nothing fucking happens. So I definitely was worried that was going to happen. But also, because of it being a 90-minute episode, a lot of times what happens is they just do that. So the first half is a normal sort of slower episode, and then all the action happens in the last act. And while that was the case with this episode, this was not that kind of finale. Things did get done in this finale. Things actually did happen, and damn did they ever. This was such a good finale. I was very satisfied with the way things wrapped up here. Was it perfect? No, I don't think this was a perfect finale, but it definitely was very satisfying. I overall was very happy with the way things turned out here, and I definitely thought that, you know, we actually did get a major death here. We got an all-out war between the Saviors and the Saviors and Alexandria, and I think they very well established that conflict. They've established it all season, but I think this episode definitely established that quite well. But let's just get into this episode because definitely there is quite a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, a lot of this episode focuses on Sasha. We start off, we see music is playing over a black screen until Sasha is seen in a dark space listening to it with headphones on, and she's breathing oddly. She fades off to sleep, and her head rolls, and an earphone falls out. And the one thing that they said very well is we don't know where the hell Sasha is at this point. We know the last time we saw her, she was in prison, and Eugene was trying to, you know, basically torture her and, you know, mentally torture her, while Negan was as well. So you don't really know where she is, but then we see the opening credits, and we cut back to the scene. She continues to listen to music, and it says, hey, darling, wake up. And in the past, she wakes up to Abraham, and he's saying the same thing to her. So at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't really know how Abraham was there. Obviously, he's dead, but he said good afternoon to her. She's happy that he's here and asks if they're back, and he tells her not yet. He didn't want to wake her because she's pulling late shift, and he's going to help Maggie because she's in trouble, and he's wearing the outfit he actually died in, and she asks him not to go. So this is kind of her getting closure with Abraham finally, which she really has not been able to do since he died, and I thought they definitely portrayed that quite well here, is that she really has not had that sense of closure, and it seems like she's finally getting that. But basically, in the cell, Negan enters and tells her, welcome to the first day of the rest of her life, which that basically sets up this concept. And he insists that she's going to help things get back on track tonight because she's fully capable. He doesn't want to watch her die, and she doesn't have to, but someone does. And he says only a couple people at most will die, and she should get ready for a big day before unveiling a smiley-faced pancake. So you can tell that he's trying to put her to good use. You know, he's done it with Eugene. He feels like he can do it with Sasha, but Sasha's, we know, has been with Rick for much longer, so it's not going to be as easy to break her as he has with Eugene. And you know, she has a flashback to meeting Aaron with Maggie, and a lot of these flashbacks are very well done. I think they definitely did a very good job with these flashbacks, but for the first half of this episode, it's not the most interesting. I definitely will say. I don't think the first half of this episode was as interesting as it could have been. There were a couple scenes that went on a bit too long. That really is my main thing with this episode, as per, you know, usual Walking Dead finale. So then we finally come back to Alexandria, where we left off last week, where Rick is questioning Dwight, and Dwight insists that he wants Negan dead, but that they're all Negan, and Tara then tells Dwight about Denise and says that she helped people, and Dwight says that he wasn't aiming for her, which prompts Daryl to hold a knife to his eye. Tara urges him to kill Dwight, and Dwight is okay with it, but he says what he did, he was doing for someone else. And yeah, we know, that was for Sherry. He was with Negan for Sherry. And now she's gone, and now he's here, so is he because of her. And Tara insists that he killed Dwight, and Dwight insists that they can work together and stop Negan, and Daryl's conflicted. Daryl lowers his knife. This is the man who kept Daryl in prison for so long, and who knows that he wants to relinquish Daryl back to prison. So Daryl's very conflicted. Does he actually want to help them, or is he just saying this to try to get Daryl back to prison? Daryl's not sure at this point, but basically, Rosita tells them they have Sasha. She says she doesn't trust Dwight, but she does trust Daryl. So Dwight warns the bunch that Negan's coming soon. 20 saviors. He can show them down. If they take them out, then that's where they start. And he tells Rick about the sanctuary and has a plan to attack. He will fool them into thinking everything is okay, and when more come, they'll kill them too. And the workers will align with Rick, and they can go from outpost to outpost and then end the issues. And basically, that's what they're going to try to do. So outside, the group then watches Dwight leave. Rick says that it has all started. Daryl's going to kill him either way, but Rick says if he's lying, this is already over. So I like that Rick knows that they might actually die, and they might not succeed here. Even though he's done what he can to try to build up an army and gotten as many allies as he can, he doesn't know if this is actually going to work. And Rick's doubt and his, his doubts and just this sort of, just his realism here, I really do like seeing again. Rick is not being the totalitarian Rick leader we've seen. This is more Rick. He's trying to be optimistic. He's trying to, he's trying to be optimistic. He's trying to just give a little bit more, optimism and everything, but he also is being realistic at this point. I like seeing that. So Sasha continues to listen to her music in the confined space before thinking of Abraham again, and she had a dream that he died, and Negan has now unveiled his plan to Sasha, that he is to bring Lucille out for 3. She starts to tear up, but he can't believe that she has any weaknesses, so he mocks her, that punishment is how they built everything they have, and he says that she won't let him do this, but he cuts her off aggressively, and she continues to insist that no one has to die. She just feels that they can just go about this and everything will be fine. No one has to die, but he negotiates that that's not really an option, that just one, that he was just going to pull 3 out of the pool, but 1 just for her, and she says that 1 person has to die, and she understands that, and he stands up and says that she's got him so wrapped up around his little finger, and we'll get more into that. Remember, 1 person has to die. That is the big point of this episode, is that someone's going to die, and they do a very good job with setting it up. If this is for real this time, like someone is going to die, and I like they did that here. Like I said, the main problem with these finales is that no one usually dies. We go through an entire episode and everyone's still alive, and we'll get more into that. But at the hilltop, Maggie discusses plans with Jesus, and Gregory has gone to the sanctuary, and she's planning on leading the hilltop to Alexandria to fight. And I like that Maggie is the one standing, but Jesus is glad that she's the one making the decisions here. Judith then sits on the floor. Maggie's giving Herschel's pocket watch, and I thought there was something so poignant about that. One, Herschel died, but also that was Glenn's thing in the intro, if you remember, the pocket watch. So there's something really symbolic about her finally getting that closure with Glenn's death. That's something she kind of gets in this episode. But on the streets, Carol and the Kingdom soldiers march to Alexandria, and I love that we got to see everyone here. There wasn't anyone that we forgot. We got to see pretty much everything. But they come across Morgan. Morgan actually killed the bodies in the street, and he insists that he can be on his own. Ezekiel questions if Morgan seeks to extinguish everything of who he was, and Morgan says he doesn't seek it, but he is stuck, that he basically is kind of forced to do that. Ezekiel asks if he wants the Savior's dead, and Morgan does so. Ezekiel invites him to accompany his regiment. They all need allies in this endeavor. He questions why Morgan is wearing Benjamin's armor and continues to urge him to join their fight, that they start once more for the fallen. Ezekiel calls out for the kingdom, for the glory of victory, and they're finally going to join and actually rise up against Negan, which I love. I love that they've finally gone on board. I love that he's not playing around anymore. That's something I know that we were eventually going to get to, but I'm glad we finally got through to it in this episode. I was not looking forward to another season of Ezekiel not wanting to join the fight. I like that he actually did rise up here. So Sasha continues to listen to music again before being taken to the memory with Abraham. He tells us it's going to end with one of them kicking shit and eating snakes, and she wants to sit this one out, though. He asks how he died in her dream, and she said that he was at the beach, and he got pulled under, and he didn't come back up, and she was trying to find him, but he was gone, and then she started to drown, and Abraham replies that he hates the beach, and the end of the day in a wetsuit's like a sandblast to her nutsack every step you take away. back in the car, and he insists that they go, and she insists that they sit it out. So in the sanctuary, Eugene tells Sasha that everyone has their own way, and if people die today, it's because of their own choices, and she agrees that people are just going to die because they forced him to. So sitting with Maggie, Sasha then asks why they're there, and Maggie says for this, and we go back to the present day, and Alexandria prepares for the Savior's arrival. Rick insists that the wall will hold. Everyone's ready for battle. Eugene's leading the charge, spewing out orders to Alexandria. Rick is confused because he thought that Eugene was on their side, but as he sees, that's not true, because Eugene says, I am Negan. So, Rick knows immediately that Eugene cannot be trusted. So basically, Rosita is losing her cool, as is the rest of the group. Rick has to make a decision. Rosita then sets the bomb for the explosives, but they don't go off, and I thought that was interesting, that they actually didn't go off. Rosita's just that dumb that they're not going off, and Rick then ducks, expecting something to happen, but it doesn't, and instead, Jadis pulls a gun on Rick's head. So yeah, Jadis actually betrayed him, which I never really trusted her in the first place, so I'm not really surprised about that, but all of Alexandria is cornered. The Junkyard Gang open the gate for Negan, who smugly walks in with Dwight hesitantly behind him. Michonne's looking on from afar with a rifle. She turns around, she finds the other one with the gun drawn to her face, and the standoff continues, and he asks them if they've ever heard about the little prick named Rick who thought he knew shit, but he didn't know shit, and got everyone he cared about killed, and Rick insists that no one drops their guns. Jadis tells him that Negan made a better deal, and I like that Rick, again, he was just doing what he can to eloquently just make a deal. You know, he wasn't trying to be rude about it, he's just like, alright, we can try to make another deal. Like, he was trying to be somewhat reasonable, and I like that, but Jadis wasn't willing to do that, and Negan just gave her a better deal, which, again, I've said it before, if you're a savior, your life is pretty great. I mean, Negan gives you TV, he gives you food, I mean, he gives you everything, all the kind of luxuries that a lot of these people don't have, Negan will somehow give them, and I think that's something that Jadis wants, that she wants those luxuries, and she knows she goes with Rick, you know, her life is kind of 50-50, she could be that one person that dies, so you can kind of understand why Jadis did in a sense, and basically, Negan says that he pushed him, and he knows that they tried to blow him up, but he doesn't understand how Rick could do that to Eugene, that Eugene said that they are animals, and Negan then orders Dwight and Simon to retrieve the coffin. He says that he doesn't like Eugene, that they don't like Eugene anymore, that they gotta like Sasha. He does too, so he gets her right there, packaged for their convenience, alive and well, and he brought her so he wouldn't have to kill everyone, and he wants all the guns he managed to scrape up, and he wants every last grain of lemonade, and a person of Rick's choosing for Lucille, and he also wants Daryl, and Negan tells Rick that he sucks ass for making him kill Sasha, and we find out, basically, that, yeah, Negan killed, Sasha, which is crazy, but Negan actually did kill her, and Rick then wants to see her, so Negan wants to get her up to speed, and we find out, basically, where Sasha's been, that earlier, again, Sasha's listening to music as her energy fades, and she says that it felt real, which takes her back to describing her dream to Abraham. Abraham kisses her before trying to get her to leave, and basically she says, to let him return the favor. The next thing you're gonna tell me is that you'll go, and that he can stay because he knows that she doesn't like hearing herself, and Maggie's got to take care of Maggie. He's right. They lay their big meaties across the chopping block ahead of someone else's. It's always for someone else, and Abraham insists Maggie is carrying the future, and Sasha agrees, but goes on to call him an idiot, and later, Eugene and Sasha exit the sanctuary together. He reveals the Saviors had a plan before handing her the iPod that she had been listening to, and she insists that she hadn't given up on him, and Negan then offers an alternative seat for Sasha, but she wants to be in the coffin. She doesn't want, there's nothing in her, there's nothing that wants to be allied with the Saviors. She just does not want to do that, and Negan basically, you know, she says she wants the rest, that he knows how tough this is, and he appreciates it. He closes her in and says that, damn, she is something else, and looking through the iPod, basically, she says someday we'll all be free, before swallowing Eugene's pills, and Sasha's dead. So yeah, remember, one person had to die, and that person actually was Sasha, and it's really tragic to think about that Sasha was the one to die, but knowing where her arc has been, it really does make sense. Like I said, Sasha has wanted to die pretty much, I think, ever since Abraham's been killed. She has been okay with dying, and in the end, she just could not ally herself with Negan. Even though Negan wanted to, she could not for the life of her do that, and in the end, that's basically what killed her. So now Negan opens the coffin, and Sasha emerges as a zombie. Carl used the moment to gun down the junkyard people around him. Gunshot chaos breaks out, and the rest of this episode is awesome. I mean, this is everything we've been waiting for. Michonne takes a beating. Rosita gets shot. Tara then helps her. Daryl fires aggressively. Eric then provides fire with other Alexandrians. Carl's firing from the wall. Jadis still has Rick. Meanwhile, Sasha's climbed on top of Negan, but a savior rescues him, only to have his face eaten, which that was crazy, but Simon and Negan then take cover. Jadis then shoots Rick, kicks off the ledge. The gunfight continues. Carl and Scott then shoot from behind Trooks, and Michonne is getting crushed upstairs. Like, I honestly thought Michonne was gonna die the way that was done, but Rick is escorted through the streets by Jadis. He finds dead Alexandrians along the way. Carl's surrounded on his knees, and Negan is happy to see him. Michonne's getting the life choked out of her, but manages to kill the one with a shard of something on the ground. That was awesome. I love that Michonne was able to, you know, just do what she can with her, but Rick then kneels beside Carl, and Rick starts this monologue, how Jazz reminds Negan that the deal is for 12, and she goes down to 10, and Negan turns his attention to Rick again. He mocks how unimportant Rick has made his threats out to be, but then sarcastically blames himself that he's got to make it right and start all over again. He's talking about killing Carl. Remember, back in the first episode of Season 7, he wanted Rick to make Carl blind, and for Rick to lose. Actually, no, that's not what he wanted to do. He wanted Rick to chop off Carl's arm, which in the comics is what happens to Carl. Rick just could not bring himself to do that. So Negan's now coming back to that and making Rick do it all over again, basically. He's talking about killing Carl, but Carl tells him that he's not going to win. Michonne's fighting again. The woman bounced back, that they're the ones who look. I don't know how this woman's still alive, but she managed to stay fighting, getting thrown from the balcony. Rick then hears the scream and sees someone fall. Negan sees Rick's reaction, that he just lost somebody important to him just now, and Rick then looks broken, and he said that he chooses this. This isn't a warning. This is punishment. He's going to kill Carl now. He's going to make it one nice hard swing and try to do it once because he likes him, and that's exactly what he does. It looks like he's about to kill Carl, and I was ready for Carl to go. I was genuinely ready for them to kill Carl, but right when that's about to happen, we get one of the most badass things that has happened this season, where Shiva the tiger attacks the savior, literally eats the savior up. The kingdom then rolls in on horseback. King Ezekiel calls out, says, Alexandria will not fall, not in this day. I felt like I was watching fucking Game of Thrones for a second. I mean, that was awesome when he came out, but gunfire breaks out again, including from Morgan. Negan draws a gun, but it runs out of ammo. He's enjoying the fight. You can tell, like, he genuinely is enjoying it, and he runs from his spot. A savior steps into it. He's promptly eaten by Shiva, so Ezekiel and his soldiers then gun down enemies. Morgan kills people with his pole. The hilltop rolls up as the junkyard gang hides out. They launch a flare in the smoke. Smoke bombs come in. They're fleeing. The saviors haul it out of town too. Rick and the others take aim. Ezekiel insists on finishing the fight, and his soldiers give chase. Maggie reunites with Daryl, and Alexandria fires at the savior trucks on their way out as Negan gives them the middle finger. The junkyard group makes a push back to the safe zone, but Alexandria closed the gate, fires at them. Daryl discovers the entrance is all clear, and they won for this part. At least for now, they fought, and I love that they did take a strike. Obviously, Negan's not going to die because Jeffrey D. Morgan was promoted for next season, but at least they did take out a bunch of saviors, and I like that the kingdom, like I said, in the end did decide to ally with them. So Rick discovers the dead junkyard woman, realizing that Michonne did survive, and the look on Rick's face when he realized that Michonne's alive, I mean, it's a look of triumph, realizing that, holy shit, she's actually still alive, and he rushes upstairs to find her, sees her beaten almost beyond recognition. Like, at first, she does not recognize him, and she has narrowly survived. She shows faint signs of life. He tells her that they are, and they will, and basically saying, yes, we are going to fight them. We are winning, and yes, we will take them down. He's now got this confidence back, and that was incredible. I love the way that was done. I love seeing them fight, but that is not the end yet, where we see after the attack that Negan, Eugene, Dwight, and Simon regroup at the sanctuary. Negan asks Eugene how he thinks Sasha died in that box. Eugene believes that she ran out of air because they sealed it tight, and of course that's not what happened. Eugene actually gave her a pill. He wanted to be quick and painless, and that's exactly what happened. You know, that's basically how it happened. I like that Negan doesn't know, but you can tell that Negan is going to get suspicious, and he's going to take out Eugene. I mean, he didn't in this episode, but he's definitely going to take him out, and Negan says it's mayhem, that as he looks out, he tells the giant group of saviors that they're going to war, and then we get to the ending here, which this ending was beautiful. We go back to the Alexandria safe zone. Rick asks Maggie if Sasha did that herself, and Maggie says that she did. Maggie said the decision to help came a long time ago. She talks about them being family as she and Jesus find the walker Sasha in the woods. Jesus holds her down. Maggie cries, realizing that she has to put her down, and it's kind of the last original connection. Like, Sasha is one of the last original cast members, and you can tell it's really hard for Maggie to do. I mean, she's just lost Glenn, and now she's put down Sasha, and it's really sad to see. But Maggie's voiceover continues. She talks about Glenn starting everything when he helped Rick. The survivors are seen gathering things together and coming together. Morgan and Carol then share a seat on the stairs as Maggie calls everyone family. Daryl finds a wooden piece from Dwight with the words, "Didn't I know?" on the back, so I don't know what that means or what that's all about, but definitely, I don't know if Dwight's saying that I'm with you, but that's going to be interesting to see. Michonne and Rosita are then in hospital beds with Tara and Rick by their sides. Maggie says it all started with Rick and Glenn, and it just grew into the family because, yes, that is how it started. Rick, Maggie, and Ezekiel stand from the entire group of survivors. They stand together as leaders. Maggie says that Glenn made a decision. She was just following his lead. It was all him that made that decision. And as the episode ends, she's holding Glenn's watch, and that is the way the season comes to an end. Really great stuff overall, but let's just get in this finale and where I think we're going to go in the next season. So, overall, guys, this was a really satisfying finale, honestly. I was expecting to be let down. I was expecting for this to be another finale where nothing really happened, but a lot of stuff really did happen here. One, we actually did get a major death. Two, we definitely did get a lot of mayhem, but let's, of course, first talk about that major death, because wow, I mean, I expected for this to be Eugene. It seemed like the show was setting up his death. It was kind of just inevitable. I'm glad they didn't kill him, honestly. I want to see Negan take him out. I want to see Negan get more and more aggravated by Eugene. Just think, why the hell did I let this guy live? And then just kill him. Because he's now realizing that Eugene is not really on his side. That there is still a part of Eugene that has humanity in him. And he's not just going to, brutalize Sasha. That's not who Eugene is. Eugene has been with Sasha for a while. He's not just going to kill her and he killed her, so it was quick and painless. She wanted to die anyway. He knew that he wasn't going to get through to her, and that she just wanted to die, so he killed her. And I'm interested in seeing where we're going to go with that, but the fact that Sasha died makes this episode a lot more profound, and actually makes it a lot more impressive, because like I said, a lot of this episode relied on her, and that confusion of where she really is. We knew she was in this box. We didn't really know what was going on there. We thought the whole episode that she was alive and well. I at first thought she was getting away. Now, I was an idiot because she was actually in a box the whole time, but it turned out she was actually a walker, and that she wasn't actually alive and well. She was, in fact, a walker, and it made so much sense as to why we were seeing her and Abraham. Now she finally gets to be with Abraham. She finally gets to have that closure because she can be with him and be in the same place. And, in heaven, she is with Abraham. And it honestly was a very well done finale in that regard. I thought they did a very good job with sending off her death, closure with Maggie. The fact that she wanted to die, just either in the way she protected Rosita, just all that stuff very well came together. And you can really tell the way they were kind of setting up Sasha's death. I personally thought she was going to die 2 weeks ago. I didn't think she was going to die in this episode, but yeah, it really does make sense. Remember, Sasha, Negan promised her that one would die, and in the end, one did die, and I thought that was definitely very well set up, and I thought they did a very good job, like I said, with doing the send-off to her death. You knew it was coming, you knew it was gonna happen, and I think they very well set that up. And I think the tribute to her, yes, it was very sad to see her die, and it was definitely very somber, but I think it was as satisfying, and as just the payoff was definitely very good there. Like, I really did love the way they sent off her death. I thought it was definitely sad, but again, very satisfying, and I really did love that. Sasha's a character that until this season really hasn't had much of a purpose. I feel like they really haven't done enough with her character. She's kind of been in and out of story arcs, and this was definitely the most consistent of a season she has, and it makes sense why she had to be the one to die. She lost Abraham. She didn't know what to do after that. She was crushed about it, and she wanted to die, and it made sense why she died. So I thought it was very well done. Sonequa Michael Green's gonna be fine. She's gonna be on Star Trek. She's gonna be on the Star Trek series on CBS. I can't think of the name right now, but she's gonna be on that show. And Star Trek Destiny. She's going to be on Star Trek Destiny, and definitely I'm looking forward to seeing how she is on there. So yeah, they had to kill her eventually. You knew that was definitely coming. But aside from that, what a great finale, honestly. A lot of really great stuff going on here. The war has officially begun. Negan now knows that Rick and everyone, they're not playing around. They do want to go to war. They can attack them if they need to, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where that all goes. And that other thing with Daryl, does Dwight really want to be on their side? I think when he says that I had a purpose and now I don't have it, he genuinely means it. I mean, now he has every reason to kill Negan. The thing that was keeping him from killing Negan was Sherry. Sherry's dead now, so he has every reason now to just kill Negan if he needs to. So I could really see that going down. Honestly, I think Negan's going to die next season. I think Dwight's going to be the one to kill him, and I think that's really how this is going to go down. I don't know what that message he sent to Daryl was. The whole thing was, didn't know on the back. I don't know what that really meant. But we'll have to see really where that's going to go, if he is on their side, if he's not. I think that's all just going to determine by the way things play out next season. But overall, guys, that's really all I can say about this finale. I really did love this finale overall. I like that things happened. This wasn't a complete waste, it was not like last year's finale. I like last year's finale, but it definitely was not a finale at all. It very much just felt like a prologue to the finale, and then the last, 4 minutes of the finale. This was not that at all. This felt like a full-fledged finale. It was a beautiful closure to Sasha. It gave us very good, high stakes for next season. I really enjoyed this finale overall, and if I had to grade the finale, I would give the finale a 4 point. Like I said, my only complaints were I think some of the scenes just went on a bit too slow. The beginning was not the most interesting episode in the world, but the ending really did make up for it, and this is definitely one of the best episodes of the season, and I'm going to give the finale a 4.5 out of 5 or an A-. Really great stuff overall. I love that everyone really did come together in the end. I thought it was definitely very well executed. And as a whole this season, I overall really did enjoy the season. I don't think this was the best season ever. There definitely were episodes that were better than others, but the way they did try to change things up this season, and the way they took things in different directions, and tried to give characters their own episode, or tried to focus more on a character that didn't get as much, they definitely did what they could to try to change things up and try to make things interesting. I think for the most part, they really succeeded at that. I know a lot of people turned away because they got bored, but I like the way they tried to change things up. They were telling a different kind of story. They were trying to shed some light on other characters. In a show like this, there are a million characters, and they tried to give them as much as they could. And even characters like Rosita, who I don't really think should have gotten as much, at least they tried to give her something. They didn't just completely ignore her like they have other seasons, and I think they did a very good job with doing that. Almost every character, except maybe Aaron, got a really good arc this season, and I think that was something that was definitely very well executed. I do think there could have been a little bit more action and maybe a little bit more Negan, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan was great. He absolutely killed in the role. I can't wait to see what he does next year. I really do love him in this role. He does a fantastic job. I really have enjoyed this season as a whole. My only, like I said, real complaints, I just feel like the pacing has been off sometimes. Some episodes have definitely been better than others, and there have been some really simple concepts. Like, you definitely knew where the season was going to go. It wasn't exactly an unpredictable season, but I didn't expect Sasha to die. I thought Rosita or Eugene was going to die, so I thought that definitely was unpredictable, but the way we went definitely was kind of how I expected it to go, and overall, though, I was happy with the way the season turned out. It's definitely one of the better seasons of The Walking Dead in recent memory, and honestly, if I had to grade Season 7, I would give Season 7 as well a 4.5 out of 5 or an A-. I really enjoyed the season. I think the stakes were very high. I think that they kept things interesting. I was most times very much into what was going on. They did a good job of keeping us interested and really changing things up and not just, doing the same thing every episode. They really did try to do things differently by shedding some light on other groups and changing the tone and giving us more interesting character dynamics. They really did a great job with that. That's something I really did love about this season. I can't wait to see where Season 8 is going to take us, and hopefully they stay with the way they did here, because I think they have some really cool ideas, and I really do hope they utilize a lot of those ideas and things they set up in Season 8. But as a whole, guys, that's it. The Walking Dead Season 7 is now over. Let me know what you guys thought of this season overall. Did you like this finale? Did you like, were you surprised to see Sasha die? Did you like the closure to her death? Did you think it was satisfying? Where do you think next season's going to take us? Do you guys care? I know a lot of people don't really care anymore, but overall, I definitely really did enjoy this season. As I said, I just gave my rating, obviously, so I really enjoyed it. But I really enjoyed reviewing this season to you guys. I'm definitely looking forward to when the show comes back in October. This season, honestly, has gone by very fast. It really has. It happens every season, but this definitely has gone by the fastest, I think, out of every season by far. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for the series, not season, series finale of Big Little Lies, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.